Today the plan is getting up river safe first and foremost, because it is shallow out here. They dropped all of our water out in that, but we have been catching striper, steelhead, some big bass, largemouth, spotted, and one they kind of call a mean mouth that's like a cross. But anyways, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to head up river. We're going to fish from the rock down, back down, and hopefully we'll get up there nice and safe. The water really has dropped a lot, but the fishing's been holding steady. So get you some nice steelhead. We had them up to 8.5 pounds. We had a 27-incher the other day and a native that we released. But anyways, that's the plan. It's a mixed trip, so we're gonna be going after a little bit of everything. Whatever wants to bite, we're after. So first and foremost will be steelhead and striper, though. That's what we're gonna be really targeting today. So you're gonna work a spoon. What we're gonna do is we're gonna work this sandbar. There's a drop off up here, and right at that little drop off, there might be a steelhead there, there might be a striper, I don't know. We'll give it on both of them, see what happens. So it'll be real quick, and we're gonna be snap, snap, and then right on up to the next one. Okay. So, this is a big glide bait I'm gonna throw right by that tree. It's swimming across there. I'm looking for a giant striper. So. We got the P-line, 80 pound. With the Daiwa. Something that a lot of people haven't been doing, and I started doing because my clients can't cast, a lot of them can't cast a big heavy glide bait. Everybody that glide fishes knows how hard it is to cast a big glide bait. But if you put them way back there and you troll them, they work the same. I mean, yeah, you can't throw and sneak up as quiet as you would like. You can't sneak up on them as quiet as you would like, but yet it's very effective, and we've caught a lot of fish trolling glide baits. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm actually sneaking up to the best part of the spot. You don't want to run right up on where the fish are in shallow water like we're fishing today. So I'm just going to sneak up here, and these guys will cast this little drop off. It's a sand bank that's super shallow, then drops into a nice 10-12 foot hole. Matter of fact, we're 15 feet here. And with the glide bait, as big as they are, these great big white ones in this clear water, what happens is you can draw the fish up off the bottom, kind of like those guys towing around that fake seal when they're getting them sharks to come up. I kind of think of it the same way. You get them big 40, 50 pound stripers to come up off the bottom and grab a hold of these. But anyways, we're gonna get a fish right here. There you go, Francis, beautiful. I was throwing the glide bait, and a fish came up and followed it all the way up. Followed it all the way to the boat. And then I put on the A-rig, and bam, I had a bump, and it came back and really grabbed it. Ooh, nice striper. These are the ones you like to eat, guys. Just nice, beautiful bass. Just a nice, beautiful bass right here. Oh, I love stripers. Don't worry about the net, friend. When you're using an A-rig, it's kind of got a built-in net.
Well, it might be problematic in that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but what a beautiful bass.
Nice.
Perfect eater right here. We're gonna keep that. That's about as big as we keep. That's about 8-9 pounds. Nice fish, yeah. I'm kind of letting a little water get in here, because when I put him in the box, he's going to make a lot of noise. And we know there's some fish in here. It's just if you pocket, and there's with you when you're striper fishing and any kind of fishing this time of year, you got to find deep water, because there's no water in this river. So you find deep water, everything's in here. You don't know what you're going to catch on any cast.
The smorgasbord.
It really is, because there's not many for them to go. And Francis asked me, he goes, Ray, he goes, how's that do on the fishing with the water dropping like it did? And I said, well, shrinks everything into like little ponds. So basically, this is a section of a river that's got a deep hole, and it's like a little pond, and so you just got to dissect it and fish it and try all your little tricks and that, and the fish really won't move until night. At night, they feel comfortable to change ponds, you know, different section of the river. So that's what we got here. We got structure, we have rock piles, we have trees, we have a big shallow sand bar up underneath the water, which is about 1 foot deep, and then it drops off into 15, 18 feet of water. So I'm gonna go back and get another one. Yeah, I had a follow-up, and I had the one fish I landed, and that was it. So there's a great big one in here I've been chasing. He came up and showed his ugly mug, but we're gonna move on up to the rock dam and try to catch a couple steelhead while it's still early in the morning. I said one more cast, but everybody knows how one more cast goes. I had to slip one more in. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a move and see if we can't pop a couple steelhead wide up.
Welcome back to the Feather River. I'm Justin Wolf. We have one good-sized striper in the boat on an umbrella rig, but now we're pushing upstream to the base of a small diversion dam that tends to hold stripers, but it also concentrates the feathers run of steelhead.
It's the Live Oak Diversion Dam. That's Sunset Pumps there. And what it does, it's all the water for Sutter County, all the farm water, a lot of the farm water for Sutter County. So they built this rock pile here to get the water nice and deep above it so the pumps can pump it out. Francis, you're going to want to work all that wall right in front of you. Yep, and hang on. That's steelhead country right there. So on the glow bugs, we use this garlic water soluble Procure. It's been in my boat for a while, as you can see, but I use it all the time on everything. You just put a little spray on there. I don't know what it is about trout, but they love them. Steelhead, trout, everything loves garlic. Sturgeon, as the guys down in the bay know. We got some Procure roe going here. We're gonna drop in our steelhead. We can't find anything in the normal spot, so we're gonna get out here in the deeper water. Just a short leader, 10-pound line. You don't need much, 2-ounce weight. We're just gonna dredge down here in the bottom and see what the heck's laying down here. We know there's some in here, so if you can't catch them on the artificial, you put you on a little Procure roe and it'll catch something, I guarantee you that. Beautiful steelhead. Beautiful. These little guys, they go to the ocean and come back. You think he liked that bait? He sucked it all the way down. But anyways, they go to the ocean and come back, and that's what considers them a steelhead. So that's about what we catch here, a couple pounds. That one's about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. They weigh heavy, but yeah, nice little fish. He choked it down. We get 2 apiece. Fill out your card, do all that. But we're good to go. That's what we're after. We'll get a handful of these every day, and then a few striper and miscellaneous everything else. So. Remember, you only got 10-pound line.
Oh, look at that.
Now,
We're gonna get all the species that's it today.
This is a brown steelhead. This is a German brown. Good hook. Look, you got him right in the corner of the mouth. He didn't waste no time. These are our salmon eaters, our salmon smolt eaters. They eat everything. But the big striper like eating them.
I'm curious why we fish like a foot and a half leader instead of a longer leader.
When you're fishing bait, if the fish want the bait, you really don't want a long leader if they're eating it. You know, a lot of guys will use a long leader in the deep holes and they end up flossing a lot of the fish. And so flossing means they're just going around and dragging. The long leader gets tangled up in their mouth. But if the fish are eating the bait, the shorter leader's better, so you can feel the bite. They don't have the 3 foot of room to nibble on it before it contacts with your weight. Your weight's the dead giveaway on your bite. So like you hooked that fish right in the corner of the mouth. As soon as he felt it bite, pop, 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 he came up on him and had him. So that's my theory on it. Shorter leader's better. You can feel the bite. You're faster on the draw. So we're not real line shine here or hook shy. I run a little bigger hook. But yeah, so that's what we're running for a leader. 10-pound P line with a number 1 owner hook. They're getting a little bigger. We work the edges over and try to catch them, and then we go deep. And so we went down there deep, and we're starting to pick up our fish. So, nice job.
Is this a wild trout or?
No, they're clipped. See the fins clipped right here? We get very few wild ones here. So we don't have, we keep them because they go up in the hatchery and they'll spawn them, and they'll take most of them, a lot of them, and put them in the afterbay. And then they end up out in the duck clubs. The afterbay pumps water into the rice fields. They end up out in the duck clubs, and so they're all gonna die anyways. They pretty much go to waste. So they're great eating, and so we really don't worry about keeping these fish. So they're great eating fish. They're just a hatchery fish. The fin's been clipped on them, and this one swallowed it, and you get 2 a person, so we'll keep these as well. This one's gonna be a good eater. I got a little steelhead. Boy, he's got a lot of color on him. Ready? Thank you, Jody. We went to deep water, and with the rope, we've been using spinners and Cleos and that, but it's working, it's producing, so that whole bottom's full of them. So you get 2 apiece, like I said, and we'll put them on the smoker. We'll have some really good eating fish here.
We're on the Feather River with guide Rafe Herford, along with Francis Hopping and Jody Way. We're hooking up with some of the feather steelhead, which may seem surprisingly small. We have more fishing to do on the Feather, but first, here's Robert Weese of the NorCal Guides and Sportsmen Association, who is running us up to Sacramento to the famous barge hole to explain why the steelhead are so small. It all begins with the salmon runs.
Normally here in Barge Hole, this time of the year, we'd be fishing for fall run king salmon. It'd be 50 to 100 boats here, everybody catching fish and having a good time. Here we are in 2023. 2 boats I see, no fish jumping. I want to talk a little bit about the 4 distinct runs of salmon in the Sacramento Valley. That would be the main rivers and tributaries. Historically had 4 runs of king salmon. They had a fall run, they had a spring run, they had a late fall run, and they had a winter run. And basically over the last 50 years, those runs have basically depleted themselves to the point where one distinct run goes, then the next one goes, because all the salmon depend on each other having 4 distinct runs. So that's why we're having problems on the rivers and the tributaries, is that we lost 1 run of fish, and when you lose that, it's just a cycle of losing all the runs. It's like riding your bicycle and you take a spoke out of the wheel. It doesn't run very good, and then all of a sudden another one falls off. Pretty soon your wheels fall off. That's where we are on the Sacramento River now. Steelhead are basically a derived fish from salmon historically. They're related, trout and steelhead. And a question is always asked a lot is, why are the steelhead smaller on the Sacramento and Feather River? And the reason being is that our salmon fishery and natural spawning salmon in these rivers they're basically non-existent anymore. So that's a big food source for the steelhead, and that's why they're so small. They just don't have enough food in the river to survive at the older ages where you would see the steelhead getting bigger. If you want to improve the steelhead fishing and the size of the fish, we have to start out with the salmon. We have to bring the salmon back. And when we get the salmon coming back and spawning naturally, you'll have the derived nutrients in the water, and you'll see larger sizes and better populations because there'll be more food in the river, which typically when you have good steelhead runs, you'll have good salmon runs. They go together, and you need years of good runs of salmon to really bring the steelhead back. Steelhead, generally when they get to the larger sizes, they're generally just like a salmon, 3 to 5 year old fish, and that's what we need coming back. Currently we're having generally about 1 to 2 year old fish coming back, and then very few of the larger size on all of the rivers. So we need to improve the salmon, and the steelhead will come back. I would like to see, once we start getting some salmon coming back, that we do improve the hatchery production for steelhead, which would be a very good thing for us. We've got some great programs started that hopefully we can bring the river back and bring the fish back. We got one program currently where we take the carcasses from Battle Creek. That's the salmon carcasses. They've spawned those out, and we take them and distribute them along the river through here, through a section of river where we typically would have natural spawning. We're trying to build up the derived nutrients for the juvenile fish and the inward migrating steelhead, because the environment needs salmon. Salmon are the foundation of the food chain on our river systems and tributaries, and when we lose the salmon, we lose all the other organisms and fish and wildlife that depend on the salmon, because they are the foundation of the food chain on this Sacramento River system. The Sacramento River rainbow trout, if you were to tell if it was a steelhead, it would be longer than 18 inches, and he would have his adipose fin removed. That's how we track our fish. So this is a native rainbow trout. So this is one of our salmon carcasses that we put back in the river about 2 weeks ago. And this is one of our location points where we like to put the fish in. A lot of juvenile salmon and steelhead like to live along the river here until they migrate out to sea. And we can see this one has been, it's getting ate on by some sort of creature in the river. These salmon are crucial to have in the river, derived salmon nutrients as they call it. Everything in the river that lives here needs salmon. So hopefully one day we can bring back a healthy population of natural spawning salmon and steelhead into this river. But since we started this program, we see that it's very beneficial to the river itself. We developed a technique of fish chucking, which is pretty productive. You grab them by the tail and you chuck them. There you go.
Welcome back to the Feather River. I'm Justin Wolf. On this day, the steelhead were in deeper water, willing to hit row. But before the day is over, Rafe would like to catch at least one more big striper. Since it's late morning, live bait is probably the best option.
Oh, striper candy. Ah, look at that. So what we'll do with this little rascal is we'll put him on a big hook. We'll drop him down for a big striper. We're gonna fish him out today. Keep an eye on him. That's gonna be fantastic bait. Here we got the water temps at 54.9, basically 55 degrees. And that's about 4 degrees warmer than what it has been. And the reason why we're starting to get some striper again is once it warms up, those things come alive. So we just slid in here Sullivan Ranch, or a lot of people refer to as Juan Corona, because he was a guy that was convicted of murdering like 20-some migrant workers here and put them in the orchards right here in this area. So anyways, Sullivan Ranch, Juan Corona Hole, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's not a bad place to fish either. A lot of things die here.
Yeah.
Okay, what we did is we put that big minnow on from earlier. And we came over this drop off like we've been talking about. And I told these guys we've got solid trees over here against the bank. And that's a good place for these fish to hide. And he just had that minnow down there. He came up and sucked it up. And the hop did a great job. He really stuck it to him good. What a beautiful fish. Look at that big old striper. That's good right there. Don't reel anymore. Look where that hook was. So he took it down head first. I mean, just buried it.
It was tap tap, and then it just started taking off. So set the hook and it was on.
You know, we knew with all the structure and all the trees that are underneath the water against the whole bank on the west side of this river, and we got a sand drop straight off, and then we got like a little underwater sand island here. Then there's a tree sticking up back here, and it's sitting in deep water as well. So it's a monster tree with all the structure in the deep water. When the rivers are shallow, you gotta find deep water, and that's where all the fish are, not just the striper, your salmon, your steelhead. You know, all the fish are gonna go into the deep water in the daytime. So, and then we caught that live bait while we were fishing for steelhead, and I said, well, we're not gonna just throw them back, we're gonna put them to use. And sure enough, man, that's a beautiful fish. Rigged up a leader for them and dropped them in, and 1 ounce weight, a little short leader, and man, the rest is history. I mean, can you say twins? Can you say
nice.
Twins? I mean, nice fish.